his lack of patience would be rewarded just this one time. Streamer, that's me, I think. Probably. Epic. Good, what, evening? Right? Oh. Are my frames okay? Okay, I was dropping like every frame, like for a few seconds, but it seems to be okay. I guess that's the first thing. I should check if like my net is stable right now. I did try and restart my router, so that hopefully it doesn't just like cut the VOD into 5 pieces again, and then I have to re-render the entire video. Hopefully it just works. That's my hope. I hope it's not too much to ask. We're like live, right? Okay. I just need to refresh some of my like Twitch stuff just to make sure that it's actually working. Okay, I'll just wait another like minute or two to let people come through, load the page, and whatever else needs to be done. And then once that's sorted, then I guess I think that also gives me time to check if the internet's stable before I like start. But so far, I've dropped literally 0 frames after the first few seconds, so that's positive. I'm happy about that. Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll check with chat that I'm coming through loud and clear, hopefully. Hopefully. Gotta make sure it's coming through, otherwise it'll be very embarrassing. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Perfect. Thanks, Riley. I wanted to make sure, because again, like it was the fact that it was dropping every frame for a few seconds fast, and then I was like, uh-oh. That would be very bad. But no, okay, I think we're on track then. Just give me another little moment. Alrighty. In that case, I think the stability test is complete. We're looking pretty good right now. Alright, everyone. Welcome to Edo versus Majes. I just picked out like a random match, but also, well, okay, no, that's not entirely true. I lied a little bit there. So I was looking at the recent matches, and I was like, maybe I will choose the most recent match. But then the second most recent match caught my eye. And the reason is because Majes is the player who came second place in the Japan region of the Sega tournament that just occurred. That is Puyo Puyo Global Ranking Series Sega Official Tournament number 2, Japan region, or whatever they like to call it. So I thought it'd be interesting to take a bit of a deeper dive into how they actually managed to pull that off. And Edo, I forget if I actually have some history against them. or not. They're a familiar name. Oh, whoop, that's literally just my results. Okay, I didn't know that a notepad would come on the side, but like, cool. You guys get to see this then. Oh, I need to like record my T-cell results here at some point too. I think I missed out on doing that. Yeah, this is my Hishachu League results, but I also put my OU results here, so like maybe I should just make a Hishachu and OU and just like document that. Yes, I do keep a record of results against people. I'm very normal like that, but it's cool, right? Because it gives you like that head-to-head history in case you like it's been a while since you fought someone, so you can learn about how it went. I fought Mudges in the past. I thought so. Wow, they weren't really strong. I mean, already at the time, right? They were in A League. They probably still are in A League, but they destroyed me compared to all the other guys here. Like I was competitive enough with some of the other guys in A class, but 7-20 is nuts. So they're really strong. I'm trying to see if I can find Edo here, but maybe I've just like seen their name in like the A League, but I never fought them. Could be the case, yeah. I reckon that's what's going on here. I'll just check one more time. Edo. Yeah. Not Edo, but I fought Magus back then. That's cool. Okay. But whatever the case, it seems like even Pipinio was saying that at least from what I recall, that Magus has gotten really strong, starting to become like really competitive with the upper players. And you know, he did demonstrate that by getting to the grand finals of that tournament. So very impressive work by them. But I'm curious to see what this matchup holds. I don't really know much about their playstyles. I saw a glimpse of Magus play. But also it was a bit difficult to pick apart, to be honest, because Pipunia just did such an incredible job of like responding to everything. Like you could hear the English commentators also talking about it, but it was just like perfect responses from Pipunia every single time. Tom talked a little bit about perfect responses being like +1 your opponent's attack. So if their opponent sends a 3-chain, the perfect response is a 4-chain because you've only added 4 Puyos, but you send so much more back for that extra link. And so I had to be honest, it was a little hard to see Maja's strengths in that match just because Pipino was so on the ball with every single point win. YoshiAU, I would never. Hello, Freshwater. Alright, everybody, let's jump into the match. Oh, Pipinier's a little loud, sorry. I'm gonna turn it down a little. Sorry. Okay, so left side GTR from both players. Looks like the standard. They've even got similar build forms to start with. Now branching out a little bit in the way that the multiple stack is being done, Edo taking more L shapes, Magus layering with the horizontal 3 first. Tails starting to come apart. Magus maybe looking for an attack, whereas Edo has a stronger main chain connection. Magus is now stuck in a corner and hesitating for ages, and it looks like Edo is just going to send this 5, I'd say 6 even. Jeez, big commitment, but honestly, if it can force Magus's main chain... Oh, Magus actually hasn't put the key Puyo in place to connect to main chain, but it's not going to be quite enough. Edo used up more resources, and after all, it ended up being a winning gamble. I say gamble because using up that many resources always does come with some inherent risk to it. And although Edo's chain shape was quite stable, you know, had quite good potential to dig out of the situation that the board, rather the board state that they were left with, I think that it's also something that if you use that many resources, you are still expected to make them back up later, right? If the opponent responds perfectly. Alright, all clear round, quite interesting. Magus with the counter build, or the immediate counter build. Edo trying for the counter build after the fact, but I think them clearing first without having much built up on their side was a bit of a mistake, unless... Nope, okay, Magus gets the perfect 1/8 piece because they weren't receiving any blues. So the alternative trigger option, fantastic, coming through, helping them win that round. Halo, Fino, and Adias. Practice heckler. Hey, at least I'm practicing in the first place. Hold on. Let's see if we can get a bit of audio. I think 5% should be fine, right? Okay. Same build order from both players at the moment. Okay. Slightly splitting off, taking very standard approaches to their chaining. Alright, Magus with the quick 1-chain, but Edo has the 3-chain already. Magus looking for that yellow to get the 2 off, doesn't get it in time. Edo not looking to follow up just yet, because they used a lot of their transition area, and it is very difficult to rebuild that area immediately, because it's a bit low down on the field. Magus going straight for main chain. Edo does have more resources at the moment, so this should be a simple enough extension so long as they get the purples. Alright, decides to add blues to the tail before committing to the trigger, adding a bit of length to their chain. 9 coming in from Magus. Edo gets a 9 double, fantastic send back. Magus attempting to create a second chain to send it back there, but doesn't have enough time to get it together. Edo doing a pretty good job of forcing Magus into main chain. It's silent still, it might just be like really quiet. Oh no, it's completely silent. Sorry, my bad. It's because my OBS has it on the wrong audio output. Sorry, embarrassing streamer moment. See, this is why I'm not the one doing this streaming, just the commentating. Not solely streaming any commentating practice. Alright, here we go. Now you can hear a little bit of sound and a little bit of Pipina talk. Okay. Oh, Edo with a very early aggression, but Magus with responding in kind. Okay, 2 double 3 here, but actually Magus had like way more built up, so I think that was a bit of a wrong move from Edo. Potentially, they've got a very efficient chain. This will use up the entirety of their tail, but Magus has plenty of time to extend. Can they get the purple? Gets the purple. Actually, their board state ended up being pretty inefficient because they were just rushing for the color. If they had managed to extend with the pieces that they were receiving before receiving the trigger color, then they would have been in a safer spot. But right now... oh my goodness. Okay, Edo is still alive. The counter build is online slightly, but at this point, Magus should just be using their space advantage to try and get a win off. They have a very solid chain. Okay, that 1 chain was very scary. The snipe, rather, did not happen. Sends off their full chain, very powerful. Edo now working with the space disadvantage to try and catch up. Gets off a pretty solid chain, because Magus' chain was only 7. And I say only because Edo here also has a fantastic 7 chain. It's not going to be enough, but it keeps them in the game. At this point, Magus does have strong advantage though, and this is what I'm talking about. The 5 chain follow-up with Edo's lack of space and also time to get resources on the board. A 5 is the finishing move. Very interesting state after the all-clear round. It looked like it was tipped in Magus' favor for a while. And it took a little while for them to finish off, but they got there in the end. Alright, so it looks like Edo has been setting up for these early attacks quite often. Last game we saw it happen, or rather not last game, but the game before the all-clear round, we saw it happen. But this time Magus is testing that main chain ability, I suppose. There's also the fact that they didn't have a response in the first place, but it is important to be knowledge checking your opponent and seeing, hey, can you keep up with these main chains if you're going to be so committal in the early game? Gets the 5 chain to finish off Edo. So it'll be interesting to see if Edo continues to use those early attacks to keep Magus on their toes, or if they're going to pivot from here, but at the moment Magus can play fairly comfortably. Okay, lots of conversion ability available on both sides. Very easy to engage and disengage. You can see they're using 1 chains to disengage a lot of their resources from being bigger attacks. Magus is now committing to connecting more on the left side. Makes a lot of L shapes that can be cleared out with 1 chains though. It all goes for the 3 chain to start cleaning up a little, but Magus has a 5, which is going to be lethal if Edo doesn't do anything about it now. So they are forced into main chain. However, Magus' chain shape gets very strange. It's not too awkward though. I was going to say awkward, but honestly, the way that they found a way out of that was very strong. It's going to be a solid 9 chain. Is it enough to send back? It is 4 garbage left over. Edo with a quick 2 chain strike, I guess trying to make Magus' board state a little more awkward in the meantime. which is, it's an interesting choice, because when you have the resource advantage, you can choose to expend those resources any way that you like, right? Generally, the decision is just to build a stronger chain, but you can also still use that resource advantage to disrupt your opponent and limit their board space even further to make it easier to follow up. Because the less that your opponent can do, the less you're expected to chain against them in the first place, right? Restrict their options to make your life a little easier. Looks like Edo's simultaneous clear, the super powerful chain, was not beatable by Majes in that round. And again, it was more a matter of Edo taking the initiative, limiting Majes' space, using that resource advantage in the first place, to continue to keep that advantage. Pretty neat tail from Majes here using that eye joint, which we don't see that much in the Western community. Edo with a very strong multiple stack. It's quite committal at the moment, but it looks like they've pivoted away from the super aggressive gameplay. Majes looking more aggressive. No purples in sight to try and fire this. And that is one of the problems that you run into when you have such a committal build. It is a fantastic main chain there, but without a single color there to defend yourself, aside from the trigger color, you're going to run into trouble. Alright, Majes with a bit cleaner of a transition space at the moment. Edo's chain once again locked into main very early, while Majes can just simply fire off a lot of what is on top of the transition. Edo's chain seems to be going off, but does Majes catch the cut? They sure do. Very nice reading and very efficient chain at that. Now Edo has to deal with the fact that column 4 is blocked off, which is going to make it extremely difficult to catch up on chain length. They had a dream, and unfortunately, in this case, wasn't coming true. Needed some very perfect pieces to get that chain off, and even then, would have been very difficult to beat that chain strength. Alright, Majes looking to use that multiple stack to extend their chain. They now have like a 5-chain option, 4-chain option if they do not use the yellow, which is what they used to defend against Edo's early aggression once again in that transition space. Now, attacks that are that low are kind of difficult to wait, because if they hit, they're really powerful, but if they don't, well, you've used up resources that are very low on your board. They are at least not the transition itself, but anything that's very directly on the transition is still kind of low, so if you use stuff there, you really want to make sure that it counts. If you use it at a bad time though, chances are your opponent will get off like a 3 or a 4 chain, and then you're in a very awkward position. Okay, Majes potentially looking for early aggression. Edo's chain looking a little more... it's a little lopsided, but I think the multiple stack area is very clean. Majes full committing to this huge attack, potentially? Okay, slight disengage, but Edo is just going for main here. It's difficult when you build these pillars. We've talked about this on the Western comms as well, but building those pillars up is so committal. There isn't a really easy way to pivot out. Majes has been able to convert some of it out, but their chain just ends up breaking everywhere, unfortunately. That limited space you have to work with, because there are just so many exposed groups of 3, just makes it so difficult. And that verticality doesn't help either. Looks like form-wise both players are maintaining pretty similar stances. Very theoretical, standard chaining shapes, GTR, into that multiple stack, into a bit of a tail. Much the usual. The difference that is separating these guys is pretty much when they choose to commit resources into attacking. In this case, they're looking pretty even. Edo's built up just that little bit more, but Majes has a cleaner second transition opportunity. Okay, not so much now. Edo is on the offensive, trying to stop Majes from having such a nice, simple, clean time with their chain. But bit of an overcommit there. Majus is now firing back with the 6 chain, and the thing is, Edo only has a 6 double. But Majus just can't draw that blue in time to get the follow-up. Ultimately, it is one of those things where you would be weighted to win on Majus' side because you have the resources to win, but also, you can play a bit of a gambling game as well on Edo's side. The fact that they decided to fire so soon is reflective of the fact that their only choice from there, when you're down that many resources, is to trap them, right? And how do you trap them? By not letting them get their piece. So it's a bit of an RNG game, but it's still a valid move from Edo. That is your win condition if you are down. So you may as well seize the opportunity. Alright, Majus this game taking the earlier hit, but digging down very effectively. Super clean. And now they are the one on the initiative. Following up, following up. Got the 5 chain. And that's going to seal the deal. Another one of those things where, if you attack early in the game, is that even if your attack hits, you have to recognize that your opponent is now higher up on the board. And, like, that's great, because they have garbage to dig through, right? But the other fact is, they can get their pieces faster. And so, it's likely that in their attempt to dig, they're going to attack you in return. If you're not ready for that, then you're going to end up having sabotaged yourself very early in the round. Ooh, the 1 chain timed really nicely to catch Majus. If Edo just commits... it's not main, actually. Cuts it off. Interestingly enough. I can't quite read what Majus is doing here. Does this connect? Sort of. Okay. A little bit of an awkward situation there. I think if Edo had just committed main chain, Majus would have been in a very awkward spot to try and fix and make sure that the main chain connected. But again, that still gambles on player ability a little bit. Okay, Majus may be looking for the aggressive stance this time. Edo's got the much more traditional looking form. Edo tanking it successfully. Majus not having a follow-up is going to hurt them if Edo can draw the right pieces right now. Gets a few nice ones. And is able to use the yellow-purple to avoid the cut in column 2. Nasty. This time the RNG has favored Edo instead and punished Majus for going for the early attack. It's always a gamble. Alright, looks like Majus is building up their transition earlier. This time around, Edo with a more balanced chain of shape. Looking like they're in the same area at the moment. Majus a little bit awkward with the column 6 here, whereas Edo is maintaining balance the entire way through. Not sure how they want to go from here. Just main chain. Righto, there it is. It is true that Majus' chain shape is a bit awkward. Is it too awkward to work with? Looks like they're firing main a little bit early here. Edo does have this 11 double into 12. Very powerful. 7, 8 double in Majus board. 9, 10, and 11. But the power was just a little too early on Majus' chain. If they'd been able to extend by just one more link, they would have been fine. But in this case, Edo recognized pretty well that Majus' situation was not so comfortable. Once again, that column 6 really came back to bite them. Alright, both dealing with slightly awkward situation. Okay, Majus got some nice pieces to resolve it. Edo's sort of getting there. Majus building up second transition area already, making them very, very comfortable to start attacking early, rather high up on the board. Wondering whether they should commit or not. They had a few options there. They could cut off the green to stop it going all the way down to the transition. Or they could choose to play the patient game And as a result of that, try and fight main chain with main chain as Edo did. Unfortunately, the 2 garbage in column 1 is going to be too much to deal with, though. They didn't have a way to clear that extra nuisance. And as a result, didn't have access to main chain in the first place. So, some pretty interesting judgment from Edo there to like fire main chain pretty early. They haven't had to attack very much. Okay, well, they haven't had to. Now they're going on with that aggressive stance again. Majès with a fantastic find with those greens to create the 4th link here. Edo's pretty much forced to main chain here. If they tank that, Majès can just follow up and win. But also, Majès can just follow up with main chain and win too. Majès just not letting Edo get away with the early aggression. Very much punishing them consistently for trying to go for it. Alright, very traditional builds happening once again here. Nice small one-chain poke from Edo. Makes Majès' board a bit more awkward because of that pillar situation on the tail once again. Majès is now reforming their board shape by cleaning up, but Edo has the 5-chain response using the multiple stacking area. Majès is forced to main chain from that. And now it's Edo's job to try and recover their board state, but I think that's going to spend a little too much time. That accidental pop is not going to be good for them. Really difficult situation there. It's just one of those things where if your opponent's chain is going off, you need every second you can get. And when you clear something, oh boy, the amount of time that it spends, you can just feel your life slipping away. Potential nasty one-chain here? Okay. These players are a little less inclined to do that. Edo's board shape is a little awkward at the moment, while Majès is a bit more stable. Edo might be trying to attack to reform it though. Alright, goes for the 2-chain, cleans up. Very nice response from Majès, very big 3-chain. Once again, Edo would have been forced to main chain, but because of Majès' board shape in this round, I think they were pretty stable. Very much a viable option for them to just main chain and win as well. Alright, got a few pillars again on Majès' board. Gets the right pieces to fix them up. Edo's chain looking very stable as well. Got more of the multiple stack going on, which means that they can dismantle a little more easily. Oh, Majès does some nice converting on the left side, making sure that the purple in column 1 isn't just committed immediately to their main chain. Uses the 5-chain response. That seems to be a pretty common trend here. Use those 5 chains in the mid-game, because once again, there's a reason we highlight the 5-chain as such an important number to reach. Right? The chain power going from the 4th to the 5th link is so overwhelming that even if you have a 4-chain, you are going to take a lot of damage. Whereas at least on the lower links it's fine, right? If you fight a 2-chain with a 3-chain, you take just a little bit. If you take 3-chain versus 4-chain, it's a little more sus, but it's still diggable. The moment you start entering 4 versus 5 territory though, it is just way too much. And so using them in mid-game can be a really effective way to get your opponent set up main chain. Oh, just gets the piece in time! Wow, wow, wow. Just in the nick of time. Nice 7 sendback. But so far it does look like Edo is more inclined to go for these smaller pokes, whereas Majès is responding most of the time with far more. And it tends to end up being locked into main chain battle, which is not good if you're the first one to send off main chain. Ooh, Majès with a quick 2 fire. has a follow-up available and decides to go straight for it. So even though Edo was prepared for their first move, they were not prepared for the second move. And that's the thing as well. If you are clever with your board shape, right, you can set up a very telegraphed 2-chain. And in that case, it still wasn't even that telegraphed. But you can set it up, and your opponent will go, okay, I also just need to make sure I have a strong 2-chain available. What they don't tend to expect is if you hit them with the 1-2, right? If you fire 1, they respond to it, you can send an immediate follow-up, and you're going to be completely safe. Maj is taking the more aggressive stance now. The flip side to their gameplay sometimes is that they end up leaving themselves with very awkward build shapes because they are trying to commit to these bigger attacks. 4-chain from Edo, but it's very clean. Majis is now struggling to scramble and put together the pieces they need to keep up. Edo trying to main chain because they thought that Majis would take more damage than, well, perfect cancelling. Is it going to end up being a blunder? Majis chain is cutting a little bit early, meaning that power is going into weaker links. As a result, does not keep up with the damage that Edo sent. A little bit scary of a situation, but it worked out this time. If Edo wants to continue winning from here, it might be the case that, oh wow, Majis with like pretty wild looking, very aggressive tail here. Okay, Edo with the 2 double, but at this rate, if... Oh, okay, that was very well timed. That's the thing, I was going to say if Majis gets the green, it's good, but there weren't any greens in queues, so honestly, I would say that was more of a calculated decision than anything else. Alright. Majis right now with a way more stable chain condition. Edo was struggling there because he didn't commit the reds early, and it's one of those things where this feels like it's a bit of an RNG round, right? You do want to commit your transition early, but sometimes your build order just doesn't facilitate that. And if that's the case, your opponent gets a huge advantage because they finish their transition, which means they can start their second floor way earlier than you can. Starting their second floor doesn't just mean that their chain length is better from the get-go, but they can also attack you way earlier. So unless you take initiative and also set up your tail as a defense, because you know that your transition is not going to be safe for a while, it's really difficult to do anything. So this is another case where Majis has decided to commit to the tail first. They did fix up the transition really early, and in fact they actually took the lead for a little bit. Interesting. It really depends on the queue, right? Like sometimes you might not commit to the transition for a little bit, but it's because in queue you can see that there's a better piece already anyway, so there's no risk to it. The risk is when you don't get the piece. Is this Edo taking main chain again? Don't know how well that's been going for them this set, but also I guess Majis chain is a little sus. Too difficult to get out of. Well, it is the sort of thing where if you see that your opponent is building kind of sus builds, which Majis is doing every now and then in the set, you can take those points for free. Punish your opponents for not being on all the time. Oh, now Edo's chain is becoming very lopsided, whereas Majis has a very strong attack ready. Yeah, Edo is not going to be able to get out of this one without main chaining once again. Feels like this is the tale we're going to be telling in today's match. Majis forces main chain. Edo is forced to do so because they don't have much else going on. Wow, that 8 triple with a 3 color bonus. So nasty. Majis having crossed the halfway mark of the set recently and holding a 5-point lead, that's pretty significant. So we'll see if Edo can keep it together and claw it back, or if at this stage Majis might just be happy to trade points in order to get the set victory. Very clean Majis, chain once again, ready to second transition if they get the right colors, but also has a really nice convert to defend against Edo's early aggression. Again, Edo's chain shape built to, like, I guess main chain? Apologies, I am a little sick. I was happy that I wasn't coughing for a while, but there it is. Edo's chain, once again, very committal here. Whereas Majès is... perfect cancel. Okay, never mind. There's no problem here. Okay, Majès with the follow-up though. Edo's now being quite restricted in space, which means they're probably going to need to use a digging move to get out of here. Majès looking to follow up. They were very, very careful with that. It took their time, made sure to watch Edo to see if they would be able to respond with any more than that. Very good judgment there. Yeah, now seeing that Edo has destroyed their chain via his main chain once again. Oh, Edo has a nice fixed here. Fix. Oh, golly, okay. Gets main chain trigger. Question is whether the tail can link up and do much. Oh, wait, hold on. I thought the fix was better than that, sorry. Well, maybe not quite there. Alright, we can see that score gap widening now. It's becoming very precarious. Edo pivoting to sandwich? I don't know if that was intentional, but sure. I guess there's a lot of pairs that were, like, quite inclined to the sandwich shape. It doesn't look like they're very ready to attack yet, though. Whereas Majès has a few options for it. They can disrupt at any moment. One chain from Edo, two chain from Majès, main chain from Edo once again. Ay. Easy game for Majès. This is free for them. Such a clean and efficient chain. It was scrambling for that second chain, but this is a 14. Yeah, another almost 50k to catch up on would have required at least an 11 chain. Not really happening during that time. Alright, back to the GTR. Alright, Majès is now looking for the early aggression potentially. Goes the one chain to clean up a little. Oh, that was a really nice convert into the 4 chain, using the purple on the back. Okay, Edo this time not committing to main chain. That is a positive change. Majès perhaps not expecting that much. Is not able to respond in time. They left themselves with a pretty awkward chain shape, trying to commit to the follow-up. This time around, Edo was ready. Perhaps Majès got comfortable with the fact that Edo was just main chaining every time and expected that. To be fair, there are a lot of pillars on the transition, so it's easy to assume that all of it wasn't just meant to connect to main chain, but not this time. Edo has broken the cycle of losing games that way. Can they continue to keep that up is the question. Majès with a nice early 2 chain, 3 chain from Edo. Oh, sorry, Majès. I don't know who I said. Anyway. Edo is the one who takes advantage there. Majès with a very nice chain connections to main, but Edo also doing the same, so if Majès doesn't do a bit of provoking here, Edo could have a very easy main chain game. If they get the green, oh geez, this is a little sauce. Doesn't want to put the purple there because it'll cut the chain later, but the hesitation was too much. Majès found a way to disengage the main chain, and takes yet another point. Potential tail attack option from Majès board, whereas Edo is once again locked into main chain only. Oh, things are getting a little more awkward, a little more sus on Majès board. Nice one chain to disengage a little, cleaning up that board shape. Edo is hesitating. Both players are looking very carefully at one another's board states at the moment. Oh, wow, the Ghost 3-chain? That is nasty. Okay, Mudge's using that perfect piece to get the 3-chain off. Edo following up, having hesitated a bit earlier makes this a little awkward. But Mudge's only option is to... Oh, well, hold on, that connects to main chain. That's... wow, crazy. Oh, geez. Okay, wow, both of the chains are blowing up. Edo's comes out to be more because of that resource advantage. But jeez, okay. Quite some crazy chain connections from Mudge's as well. Alright, 6-point gap now. Slowly reducing. Alright, very main chain oriented on both sides. Once again, that powered 1-chain coming through. Edo looking for a 1-chain option too. Covers pretty nicely. Ooh, locking in that tail potentially? Nope, uses it as an attack. Okay, okay. Forces out main chain from Mudge's? Looks like it will be. Alright, Edo's got a pretty stable chain shape at the moment. Oh, goes for all of the extensions. That is going to be rough. Gets the yellow bubble though. Wow, nice. Okay. This is going to be quite a good response. Quite an efficient chain. Mudge's has a fair bit of time to build their second chain though, so there's a very high potential for this to be turned back as well. Alright, 12, 13, and 14. Mudge's getting that chain ready just on time, piling up a lot of resources on the tail end in order to speed up their links. Let's see if it's going to be enough. Huge 8 double into the 9. Magnificent. On the other hand, Edo is not ready for that. Wow, fantastic follow-up from Mudge's there. Really making the most of the time that they had. Buffing up that tail because it is the fastest option they have to add extra power to their chain. Ooh, Edo with some awkward moves. They slowed down a little. Might have been a bit misdroppy, perhaps. Alright. Very awkward spell for Mudge's. That was a good 1-chain strike for Edo. They were taking that time that Mudge's was... Oh, geez. Okay, nope, their chain shape is now extremely unstable. This is... oh, they were so ready to go up to the 3rd floor, and they did it successfully, but then in doing so, they also trapped themselves. The timing and strength of the attacks from Mudge's side were pretty fantastic at punishing Edo for going up there a bit willy-nilly. Okay, awkward shape from Edo in the transition area, but they got it to work. Mudge's with that 1-chain again, applying that soft drop bonus a little. Sends a bit of garbage. Edo now sending their 1-chain. Goes into the 2 double follow-up. Very nice, but 4-chain from Mudge's means that Edo does need to respond with something real good here. 3-chain is okay, keeps them in, but is awkward. Mudge's rushing for main chain in this case, however it is only a 6-chain. I think they might have made a misjudgment on just how little they had compared to what Edo had, because they did still have the entire transition area prepared, and links back to the base of their chain. So a bit of a misjudgment in that case. Oh, all clear round? That like awkward little pause on both sides. The actions speak louder than any words that I could use to describe that situation right there. Mudge's looking very, very attack-oriented at the moment. Oh, potentially being given the free reset by Edo. No. Edo is on the offensive here, gets the follow-up into the next follow-up as well. Not giving Mudge's time to take advantage of that. That's another thing as well that tends to happen, where the opponent is in an awkward position because they've built themselves into an attack. And as their opponent, your initiative can be, hey, just let them stay in that awkward board state for a while. And maybe at some point, they might be forced to send that off in order to clean up their board. And in that case, you can just respond with more. In this case, Edo looked like they made a bit of a risky move in allowing Majes to get that board reset, but the fact that they had a follow-up is really the key there that separated that move from being a good one to a bad one. Or rather, other way around. Okay, strong pokes from Edo to restrict Majes' space. They have basically no access to main chain now. Wow. Strong attacks. Losing that point gap a little. 5-point gap now, but they are approaching the end. So, Edo probably wants to get this done sooner rather than later. Although scrambling for points at the very end gets very stressful. Strong stacks of 3 on Edo's side. Very convertible into a lot of options. Small poke to Majes, but Majes' board state now being left in a very awkward spot, especially in that transition area. Yeah, goes for the 5-chain on Edo's side. Majes is forced to... makes a kind of neat convert out, but it is not going to be powerful enough. Great work from Edo to recognize that the 5-chain was how much they needed in order to provoke Majes into clearing out a lot of their awkward space. And the fact that it was not enough to defend was truly the cherry on top. Ooh, wow, that was a nice find with the purple-green. But Majes does have a 3-chain in response. Oh, ooh, the immediate follow-up to try and call Majes out. Not gonna do it this time. 5 double is going to hit hard now. A nice attempt, but a little too hasty there. We did see that the score was brought down to a 4-point gap, which is the lowest it's been for a little while now, but back to 5 we go. I'm trying not to read chat too much during this, just to not disturb the mental, but very Western play is diabolical photo. Kind of true. Ooh, Majes forced to take the opt-out, which breaks the chain. Ooh, Edo isn't ready though. Well, okay, we take those. Great. Alright, the gap's widening and Majes is slowly approaching that finish line. Edo needs to make some very strong moves now. Is Majes looking up for an early attack again? Oh, goes straight into it. Edo's just not ready. Oh, they're the one taking the Whoa, hold on, it resolves just fine. Whoa, I think Majes didn't realize that. Oh, wait, hold on, what is... Edo's taking a little bit of a weird route with their chain. That's not going to be enough. Dang, they had it too. That was messed up. The blow up the GTR into reform it with whatever was on top. Crazy play, but unfortunately throwing it a little bit at the end there. Well, not even a little bit. That was just throwing the round entirely. That's so unfortunate. Okay, looks like more clean chains from both sides. A bit more normal. Edo's kind of locked into main chain though. Well, they have a few dismantle options that they're looking for. But I'd say Majes' shape is a little more stable here. Yeah. Edo's pretty strictly goes right to left. And so they can clear across. Okay. Not main chain from Majes. And we are back to what we had earlier in the set, where Majes simply... Oh, whoa, huh? Okay, maybe their internet cut out too. Okay, I was gonna say, Majes forcing out main chain from Edo once again, taking that advantage and just running with it, because look at how powerful this H8 is. There is no chance for Edo to catch up from here. Really difficult. 5 points to go for Majes. Oh, all clear round. Let's see how they play this out. Okay. Both decide to cancel the all clear early. But now we have slightly awkward chain shapes compared to the usual. Maji's opting for more of a submarine, Edo taking on, I guess, a bit more of a sandwich into a tailing joint. Alright, Maji's doing a pretty good job of sealing Edo's options at this point, though. They don't really have much to use, aside from the 1s and 2 chains they can make. Forced to pop the 4 chain. Oh, one just gets the purple green in order to set up the main chain. Oh, that 1/8 probably hurts quite hard for Edo there. If they hadn't had that, I think that round might have been theirs. Those are really tough losses to take when you're the one trailing in the match. Oh, Maja set up once again for a very early attack. Oh, takes a big 1 chain. Oh, that one is good. Okay, it doesn't snipe column 3. Edo now taking out with this 4 chain, which is pretty solid, and Maja's also with a 4 chain, so... Wow, jeez, okay, so strong. In spite of the fact that Edo was prepared to return, Majas was just on the ball with those follow-ups. Wow. That 1 chain put in some work. Oh my gosh, the 4 chain all clear. Oh no, no greens. Oh no, everything is disaster. Oh, it is mental. It must be shot right now. That is a brutal sequence of rounds. For Majas, it's just 2 more rounds to go. For Edo, it's 13. Going to need a bit of a miracle to play this out all the way through. Majas with another strong 1 chain. Okay, Edo is kind of forced into the 4 chain, to be honest. Waiting for a blue, Doesn't get the blue in time for Majas. Edo needs that. 1 more point towards the goal. Oh my gosh, Majas with a massive 2 chain. But this time around, oh, not the yellow. The yellow early clear, stopping a bit of power from the latter bit of the chain. It's good enough for now, but is it enough to keep Majas away? Strong 2 chain coming from Maja's side. Hesitation on it, wasn't sure whether or not to fire. And they're locking themselves into main chain again. It just seems like their chain shapes are not adaptable to what Majas is seeking from them. Just the 10 from Edo's side. Majas, so much confidence, not having to extend a single bit. Such an efficient chain. Goes into the 10, sends back into the 11 to confirm. And I'm making an attempt, but it's just the 4 chain. All clear start. When the opponent is on match point. One of the most stressful situations you can be in this game. So easy to throw it away. Alright, Maja's getting the stronger initial chain. This sets up the rest of the round. I think Majas was looking for a second all clear, or maybe they were thinking about what kind of base they wanted to use for their chain, because they have the whole board to work with, whereas Edo has to build this like sort of awkward build unless they clear out some of the garbage. Whoa, Majas has such a massive chain. Okay, 3 chain from Edo to defend. Receives a bit of more garbage. Another 1 chain. attack fromまじぇす. So strong, so scary. And now it's full fromまじぇす. Oh, golly. Is that too early? Oh, questioning. Okay, gets the extension, Oh, what? Huh? What? Okay, I don't quite understand what happened there, actually. I thought that was fine. Well, GG's. That was pretty dominant fromまじぇす, to be honest. So much of the set was pretty much just down to the fact thatまじぇすforced Edo into main chain, and that was the game, right? But the way they did that was by consistently keeping their chain shapes open. So you saw a lot of quick 1-chains or 2-chains to gain an early advantage, or to force Edo to pop something of their own, right? When Edo was the aggressor,まじぇすresponded very easily with +1 or +2 links, right? Edo would send a huge 2 or 3,まじぇすwith a 4 or 5. So in general, Edo's chain shapes just weren't cut out to respond to whatまじぇすhad available at pretty much all times. I'm just going to quickly check on that last round because I'm quite confused about that. Because essentially they're trying to puzzle around it, I think, if these purples are important. So that's, or just like whether they should extend with this. So they get the red up here, and seemingly all they have to do is set off the green. Maybe they just, I don't know. Unless they like perform this rotation wrong. Oh wait, hold on. I think they might have. That's easy to mess up if they did it in that direction. Ooh. I think I know what happened. Okay. This is a really interesting little thing. Sorry, I'm gonna... Basically, commentary is complete, so if you have any feedback, feel free to chuck it in. I'll also check chat for things. I just want to talk about this, though, because this is, like, sort of ghost rotation stuff that not too many people have a great understanding of. So I think it'll be interesting to talk about it. Because I can pinpoint why this rotation didn't work. Did it get to 5 the red? That's my suspicion, Finno, and I'm going to just like illustrate why. Okay. So let me just like build out the top of the chain just so we have a visual of some sort. Okay. So, let me now return your attention to the situation. Oh wait, what was the current pair? Red, yellow. Here we go. So, your piece is red, yellow, right? Hold on. Purple, red, sorry. Purple, red. Oh, that purple isn't there. Okay, hold on. It's purple, red. Right. And you want to get the red over here. Here's something really important, and that is the fact that the axis Puyo is the purple. So that's the one that's flashing. It's because the red rotates around the purple. So that's really important. This here is the axis Puyo. Now, one of the rules with the vanishing row 14, is that your axis Puyo cannot be in row 14. So what that means is that you cannot be standing your Puyo up with the red in column 13, row 13, and the purple in 14. It just doesn't rotate at all. It gets like it gets stuck. It's like in Tetris when you try and do like a thing with a piece and it just doesn't rotate, right? Like it just cannot do that. You are allowed to put the axis Puyo here, and then the other Puyo, the rotating Puyo, I don't remember if you have a name for it, but you are allowed to put that in 14, and that's why you're allowed to put stuff in 14 in the first place, but we have a restriction where you can't put that axis Puyo. Here's the thing, the way they did the rotation I'm going to go back a little bit, is they were rotating with the red on the right. And you can see here that it hops up with the red on the right. So it's purple here, red here. Let me illustrate it. Purple, red, and then essentially, right, they've hopped their pieces up like that. Right, so then when they shift it over by 1, it's going to end up being purple here and red here. And here's the problem. Once you're in this position, the purple can't... actually, I guess you could rotate downwards, and I think it would work. Yeah, you could probably, like, rotate. But at that point, I think it's, like, the lock delay is sort of awkward to work with. Whatever the case, they lock this piece really quickly. Yeah, it locks really quickly. I don't quite understand how the lock delay works. It might be the case that, like, it always feels kind of short up there. But yeah, because they rotated it this way up, it's most likely that they just shifted the piece over by 1, so it would have gone red here, purple here. And yeah, like, they needed the red to be here. So that's kind of a rip. What you'd want to do, if you wanted the red on the left, is you want to make sure that your piece is in the opposite direction. So you'd probably start it here. Well, here's the way I would do it. Purple here, red here. And then I'd stand it up. Red here, purple there. And then, again, this is the axis Puyo, right? So the red is going to rotate around it. When you rotate to the left here, the red is going to shift up. And then you could swing it over. And that's how you get the red in column 5. But the important thing is the fact that we saw them swing the piece up with the purple on the left rather than the red on the left. And so that's likely why they just didn't decide to go for the chain, because then they just had to cycle for a green red at that point. There's no other way to set off the chain. Oh, well, just any red, I guess? Yeah. But... yeah... that is rough. It's most certainly, like, the purple and the red. Purple first, red first. It could also be in 5 and 6, who knows, but at that point, it's like, that's a full fumble. There's nothing you can do. Would that have been enough? I think so, to be... oh, this is 9. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Putting the red here does cut off this area. And I don't know if the greens resolve. Probably not. I don't think so. Maybe, actually, wait, no, I think they might. That's so awkward. This height difference judgment is so difficult. No, none of this garbage gets dug. So I think by the time the purples link... the way I'm thinking about it is... 2 purples, 2 garbage... 2 reds, the greens reach up to here. So the greens are here, I think. No, 2 purples, 2 garbage, the green is here. Never mind. Yeah, no, it's green, 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 I think. Green, green, green. Yeah, no, not quite. I think they don't match. They sort of almost do, but... no, but this pillar is too high anyway, right? Yeah, yellow, yellow, red. No, yellow, yellow, red, red, green. It almost does. It almost does. It's a good attempt. Maybe it would have been enough, but yeah, that is a rough situation to be in. Yeah. Dang, GG. Very interesting. But we can also just see like why Magus is quite dominant at the moment. Oh, not dominant maybe, but just strong as a player. Their changeups have been very stable, and the way they're dismantling attacks. Because the thing is, the moves they make look like they're committing so hard to a huge 2-chain or huge 3-chain. Because much of the time I was like, oh, they're like even pillaring sometimes. And every now and then Edo would punish that. And to be fair, it could have just been the case that this match, it wasn't getting punished as much as it should have. But from my point of view, it was also the case that Magus like just found very clever ways to like 1 or 2 chain out of it. to remove those like very exposed groups of 3 to then convert into a strong main chain, or to change it into an even stronger like 4 or 5 chain attack. Wow, there we go. Hopefully that was an insightful session for you guys who were looking to like get some more like JP player commentary analysis stuff. And as I said, this is like a practice session for me, so if any of you would like to give any feedback about the commentary that you heard today, then feel free to shoot it to me. Or if you any questions or comments, as they say in like show and tell, even if it's just like a funny comment, you can tell me. Let's see here. We would heckle heaven. This is very true. I don't want it to reshape. Oh, okay. That might have just been like a observation that wasn't potentially. I guess IMO is always a bit like, it's reading player intent is always like a bit of a tightrope, I suppose. Six attack, 6 main. Yes, I do. I do remember there was a bit of that. Yeah. Hello, Firmica. Sleep or Dias. Thank you. I am glad you enjoyed your time. Chain length tier list? I have not. Is that a thing? People. Oh no, I think I saw people. Yeah, putting that together was quite funny. Let's see. Oh, you usually wouldn't say free. Oh, come on, Riley, don't give me that. I'm sure I didn't use it in the context of a player being free. That I would never say something like that. Words can have multiple meanings. Breaking. Oh, I hope I didn't say anything like that. Actually, it's perfectly fine. I guess if the intent gets across. Insane second chain. I think I remember a few. Oh no, Marges had like that particularly like strong second chain in that one game, so I think I know what that was about. Yeah, super solid from them. Lopsided source sets. Yeah, I think it's like important to recognize that like it's not just like in TCL, but even like within A League in general, there are big gaps between the players who are in it, right? There's like literal pro players and close to pro players like Majes here. And then there's guys who are just like have just gotten out of B1. So yeah. Hello Malachi, good to see you. Hello. Hello Samudo as well. Feedback on Discord after laundry. Thank you, Riley. Appreciate that. Allow yourself to be vulnerable on commentary. Is this about the player intent judgment? I think that's the thing I would have been talking about most recently. Just like being okay with like making mistakes in your reads. I assume that's what you were targeting, but let me know if I'm wrong. Wow, letting my emotions fly free. I can't believe my emotions are free. That's insane. Oh. Be opinionated and admit your mistakes. Yeah, no, I value that a lot. For sure. Yeah, I actually, thinking about what I was commenting on earlier, it is definitely one of those things where you can just make an outright mistake. And I will happily like take not credit, take credit for my mistakes. What's it called? Why is the word not coming to me? I was gonna like be like take fault. That doesn't. What am I? What's the word? Oh, I'm so out of words now. Responsibility, accountability. Yeah, okay. Well, I almost got there. I almost got there by the end. Okay. Yes, yeah, taking accountability is a big thing. that I'm like more than willing to take on. But there's also just like in the interesting like discussion of what player intent could be, because ultimately it's like it's a gamble whether you get it right or wrong, right? Just like playing this game is a gamble. You might see something a certain way, and I think the interesting thing about duo commentary is that you still have to kind of like reach a resolution. If one player, if one commentator decides that they see things a certain way, and the second commentator has a different view of things, they have to like reconcile those two things very quickly. If they want to make mention of it, I suppose, yeah, like balancing the play-by-play while also making meaningful comments can be a little tricky because of that. Don't need to worry about that when I'm solo commentating though. Yippee! Express your wonder and admiration though, so true. This is very good. I love being excited by how awesome the players are. It's good for the player ego too if they decide to watch it back and be like, I wonder what the commentators thought. It's cool to be like excited about the game. It's quite important actually. Good for the viewers, good for the players, good for the commentators. It's good for everybody. Make mistakes, guys. Even if you have to like sound like you're confidently wrong, but it's okay because you own up to your mistakes instead of pretending that you're right all the time. Communicate the excitement of the gamble. Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. Like, even if you see things as like the player's intent as one way or the other, really the important thing is justifying why that's interesting to point out in the first place. One-sided dogpiling on one player's mistakes. I saw that Edward should just chain better comment. Yeah, I wonder if I flick through and just like sort of look at the chain shapes, because I think particularly when I'm in the moment in commentary, it's very easy to identify patterns as you're talking about them, but it's hard to like sit back for a second, really go, hey, like what was going on with all the chain shapes across the rounds? Because generally you can get the vibe, but unless you like explicitly take mental notes of what's happening with their builds, it's kind of hard to talk deeply about it. Like, this is good, I think. It's kind of locked into main chain, to be fair. Now it's meow meow time. Hello, Shadow. Yes. Did you want to say hi to chat? Do you? Or are you just gonna stare at me? He's just staring at me. Okay. Lovely. Oh, he's bumping the mic a little. Maybe he might be hearing it. Wow. Oh, he's walking around the keyboard. At the very least, he's pretty good at not like stepping on the keyboard. I do appreciate that. What you doing? Don't eat the cord. Alright, he's trying to eat the cord. Oh, now he's stepping. Oh, watch out, guys. I might. Okay. Okay. Thankfully, that didn't do much. I was very concerned for a second. Okay. Just as I was saying that, he's been pretty good about not walking on the keyboard. Well, thankfully, that didn't cause too many issues. You're trying to eat the cords too often. I might have to take you off the table. Or is he just gonna sit there calmly now? You can sit there if you're normal about it. Okay, maybe he's just hanging out for now. I think that's fine. Okay, anyhow. Um, Cognitively reframe bad choices as bravery. I suppose that's an important. It's a tricky thing too, right? Not to just be like that player made a bad choice. It's more like, ooh, they made a very. I mean, interesting is always a word, but it's hey, stop eating wires. No. Okay, we don't have to. Sorry, buddy. You have lost your table privileges. Chances are he's gonna jump up on here again anyway, but he's biting the wires. Can't be having that. All right. Yes, that's right. You have to be all like, ooh, they going for a bit of a gamble or such instead of like explicitly framing it as a bad choice. Unless you can frame it as like, oh, they made it like it was an accident or something. But you also want to be careful not to dogpile players, or at least I'll try not to. I don't know if you can do that if you want. I can't control you. As you come get better at learning what info should be assumed and omitted, I guess so. It'll be probably another thing as well where I should listen back to my own commentary and just be like, because it's so easy to listen to people's commentary and be like, why did they say that? Why didn't they say that? But it's like, of course, when you're there in the moment, you have so much pressure to like make interesting comments that you don't have like the full breadth of thinking ability. So when I watch it back, I'll probably also be able to pick up on a few things where I'm just like, that's a good comment, or that's not so useful info, that sort of thing. Shadow the Hedgehog. Oh yeah. Except I hope he doesn't have like some messed up history. Actually, I shouldn't even say I hope. I know that he does. It's okay. That's why he's a cat in this universe. His chill vibes. From Sonic the Hedgehog 3. That's crazy. No way. Oops. Let's see. Opens you up to talking about things more deeply. Yeah, I'm very keen for being able to bring that angle to the commentary. Not that you guys haven't been able to, but I think also like being someone who plays in like the upper level, I can also frame things from the player stance, I guess. Because you guys have picked up on all the like the habits of high level play and you're good at dissecting them, but there's always like the personal angle of being able to go, hey, like I'm also in those situations sometimes. Or not to say that you don't encounter them, but of course there's like certain things that happen at certain levels of play that you don't encounter until you get there. So I'd like to be able to like use that to my advantage when I'm on commentary. What should I go into? Oh, tab 2. Luckily it was nothing. Oh, listen to sports commentary. Okay. Big part of myself influence of watching hockey. Okay, I see. Or other esport comms. That's probably a good idea, huh? the stuff in the background, Riley, was I suppose good at like sort of ingraining a bit of stuff into my brain when I was at your place. That was neat. But very good ideas too. Yeah, draw from other sources of commentary. Hi Freemaker. Yeah, welcome back. Yes, the match has been concluded. Like Tetris comms, yippee! My favorite. Raw. Yeah, comms that have like always an actual structure. Yeah. No, that makes sense. But I could just listen to Tetris comms, of course. Ugh, that was pretty successful. I suppose from here it's just like I gotta figure out what I want to do. Just gonna check on my video upload status because this is a bit of a stress test because I was actually uploading a video at the same time as this and I dropped to 0. Okay, not 0 frames, but it was 0.2% frames. That's nothing. That was so good. I'm very impressed that my internet was able to keep up. But yeah, okay, that's good. Oh. I think I'm gonna take it easy for the time being. I mentioned during this episode, like I'm a bit sick because I came home and my parents were sick, and now my sister and I are sick, and it's like, oh, come on, you chose the best time to get sick, huh? Nice welcome back gift, thanks. So it's a little rough right now. Just like a bit of a sore throat situation, bit of coughing. I'm just hoping it's not like COVID, but it could be. So I don't know. I might be out of action from like going outside for a bit, which is a bit sad. But I suppose on the streams I'm gonna try and take it easy a little. It's nice that my next OU matches are in a bit, right? Like next week. So I can just like sit back and do some commentary because if you're not aware, I'll be commentating some of the matches this week as well, which should be exciting. And anything else going on? I think. Oh no, there's a tournament this week. Never mind. I can't slack too hard. There's a tournament literally like in 2 days. Oh jeez, it's in 2 days. Did people advertise this one? Okay, this is my stream now. I'm not like on a censored stream. I can say whatever I want. Has anyone, like, PGRS, Puyo Global Ranking Series. How many people have signed up for this thing? Is this another one that's going to slip under the radar even though it looks like a major? Like, it looks like one of those things that should be like a major. Like, it should be a big deal. This one. Playlist. There's 5 of us on the PGRS website. Guys! Oh, what happened to, like, promoting this, like, anywhere? Like, even on Twitter, at least. Oh. What about the challenge? It'll be more hopeful if people have signed up on the challenge, because then it's 7. Oh my gosh. How am I meant to get points? How am I meant to catch up to Void, guys? But yeah, more importantly, just like, yeah, there's a tournament happening. Can we get this promoted, please? I'd be like, oh, let's bug Hiku. I don't want to like be annoying to Hiku though. Like he's got so much on his plate. But I know a couple weeks ago he put out like, oh, here are the PGRS events this week, and then the week before I think he also said these are the like if we just had somebody putting out announcements every week about these are the PGRS events this week, then at least people would know that they exist and can sign up for them on the website. Like, I think it's a bit much to ask your players to be constantly checking the PGRS website for new events the way that they would with, like, I don't know, that just reminds me of, like, uni at that point. Like, oh, make sure you check your, like, your learning online thingy website portal to make sure you don't miss out on anything. And it's like, you should be, like, advertising. And I'd be like, oh, Hiku, because he was the one doing it. Doesn't have to be him. Could be someone else. Someone with the perms, though, because I can't touch that channel. But there should be announcements for these things. I mean, I think it's also not helpful that this was announced, like, really recently, too. But that's why I'm like, at least do it during the week and be like, this week we have these events coming up. And then it's like, okay, people have, like, 5 days to sign up, I guess. It's better than nothing. Participating, but I haven't had the time to register. I see, fair. We're just too busy hanging out with his girlfriend. True. This guy, sorry. I can't announce tournaments because I'm busy hanging out with my girlfriend. Oh, that's right. I have a girlfriend. You don't. I don't remember how it goes. I hope there's less than 16 people just because I don't want to do a tournament the day before I leave Japan. But, like... Oh, I want to catch up to Void. Look how much of a lead he has now. Help. I'm so far behind. I'm going to cry. Yeah, this is problematic. Guys, we need more people to... Maybe I'll just chuck it in Ascension General and just be like, guys, can you sign up, please? Like, if it's not going to be announcing announcements, at least I'm going to be annoying and spam in general chat. I think that's fine, right? I'll do that later. I haven't backread general yet, so I don't want to mess with it. Okay, well, I guess I need to, like, train at some point for this then, because this is at, well... I'm going to make it really easy for you guys, because time zones. But this is Saturday morning for me. Right now it is Thursday afternoon. So it's in a day and a bit. So I have these 2 days. So maybe today I'll do some Puyo, I'll see. But suddenly, like tomorrow, I'll probably do some. To warm up for the tournament. Oh, golly gee. I'm glad my sleep schedule is like adjusted enough to deal with this time, because I'm waking up for the commentary, right? Like at 7:30, so 8:30 is not that bad. In fact, then I can wake up at like 7, prepare for an hour, and then jump in. Yeah. Yeah. Spamming general is a good strat. It's what Sega wants. They want us to spam people about the events so that people will join them and the participation numbers are up. Which, again, I respect the approach. It is working. Otherwise, I wouldn't be so concerned. I'd be like, ooh, this is like a 7-person bracket. I can win. It's like, no, we need enough people for it to count. So, yeah. It's not even like general chat. I need to spam it in other places too. I mean, I think this is the main Puyo like event caring people. Like BGRS, you're in Ascension. If you care in the first place, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's right. This is Rio to 2025. Hey guys, did you know I have a girlfriend? My super cool girlfriend. I'm visiting. Oh, what's that? You don't have a girlfriend. That's too bad. Me, I got the skill, so I can't play as much. Sorry. I got first place, but now I gotta play because I have a girlfriend. Rio to 2025. So real. No one would ever clip that and send that to him, right? About imaginary points. Yeah, I mean it's a bit like that, isn't it? I'm just like, I've also been so scared off by the whole, like, not scared off, but scared into playing because of the whole, like, secret format. It's actually kind of funny that Hiku and Void are allowed to know what the, like, they're doing the event preparation for the finale overseas event, right? So they know what the benefit of having a lot of points are. So, like, I guess there's like incentive because they're like, oh, clearly we know what advantage you get for having a lot of points. We want to be high up on the leaderboard. But for everyone else, it's like, I want to be high up on the leaderboard because, I don't know, there's some like cool advantage thing you get, and it could be really good for being high up on the leaderboard, but I don't know. So, it's like, I don't know, I'm scared. It could be like really significant. So I really gotta work for that first place if I can. It's also good just to have like a leg up, even if it's small. It could make the difference, but yeah. So rude if someone clipped it and sent it to him. I know. That'd be crazy. No one would ever do that. You guys are like really nice and not rude. So you would never do that, which I appreciate. Every point you have, you reduce 1 point from the garbage rate. That's good. That's funny. Then you can get like negative target point. How about that? Oh, garbage rate. Sorry, that's the name for it now, isn't it? Garbage rate. Wow, I even default to saying it target point after I read garbage rate. That's good. Or make it so that every point you have is 1 less second of margin time for you. Super cool and epic. Me when I start with 0 margin time and the opponent still starts with like, I don't know, 60. Yay. This is probably why we're not allowed to be the ones managing the event. Oops. Okay, well, I do want to keep streaming, so I gotta like figure out something to do, I guess. My brain is a bit fried from that. So again, I think Puyo will be like, if I do it, I'll do it later. I had the most wretched idea, and that's like I could just pivot into TGM, even though I was like, my brain is fried. But like, I don't know, TGM's kind of brain off activity, which is really messed up to say. But it's like I just go, right? Like the thing with Puyo is that it's like so heavily analytical while you're playing the game. Tetris is just like, oh, I just put the pieces. And I'm so downplaying how hard it is. But like, I don't know. Could do that. And you guys started for TGM? Or I could play... I was gonna stream this at some point, because I was like, I need to show off my new obsession to the world. And Riley's gonna laugh at this. And he'll probably go tell Zai, but I will... Zai got Shoki and me hooked on a wordplay. It's a like Boggle type roguelike. So I could also play that. What else was I gonna say? Like that's an option too. You can only play versus people for which your combined score would be a multiple of 5. Why does this sound like some stupid rule for a game where you connect the pieces as well? And there's like 2 at a time when you place them. That rule sounds really dumb and bad, is my opinion. Practice Clubhouse beliefs. I honestly could open up Clubhouse games. If you guys if you want to play Clubhouse games, I would play. I should just like remember that that's an option now too. I can just be like, at people in Ascension, let's play Clubhouse games. I can do that now. And because I'm streaming, I have like extra power to like make people do that. Because as a streamer, you have so much influence, right? Thoughts on Chrono Chain? I'm so hyped. In fact, next month I think we should be getting like the first demo. Because they're showcasing it at TGS, I think, Tokyo Game Show. So that also means like we'll get like footage of the game for the first time. I'm so keen. My thoughts on Chrono Chain is that I'm so excited for it that I'm one of the top backers. So like I'm really invested in it. In general, I'm just like really invested in what Anarch does, because their games are just like peak. But Chrono Chain looks really exciting. I love the gimmick, and I have so much faith in them to make it a really good experience. Chrono Chain is I'll just like get the Kickstarter page up because I am happy to promote their games. Kickstarter, Chrono Chain. It's totally fine if I like play the little trailer they have, right? Somewhere. Where is it? It's on the... It's still... The campaign is still like active for late backers. I think you can get beta access still, probably. I think that's what the benefit is. Like the physical stuff is over, but yeah. Oh, this is gonna be really loud. Sorry, hold on. There we go. Ow! That's still really loud. Oh my gosh. Whoa! Imagine if it was at full volume. Wow, that's really loud still. Time control bullet hell, basically, is the gist of it. Secret Astral Chain. You need to beat Void? What, just in general? Okay, fair. I always knew you two had beef. There you go. So yeah, here's the link to the page, actually. It's got furries in it. That's always good. But yeah, so you have time control stuff. The OST is done by Steel Plus. Oh, so peak. Here they are. Protagonists. Oh, this is all the backer rewards. Yeah. But yeah, I think the one that's still open right now is oh, I don't remember how you check that. But yeah, you can still back the project if you're interested in it right now. So I would recommend doing that if you find this interesting at all. Get keen because the higher backing tiers mean that you might get jump scared by something positive related to me in the game. Smile. So look forward to it if you end up like supporting the project. It sure is, Riley. No money, but I might get it when it's available. Yeah, I mean this one's going to be a work in progress for a while. Their current active project is, well, they've got to finish Noise. The finale for Noise series is coming out like later this year, but then they also have like God Hand on the side as well. So this one's like kind of cooking while they have other stuff at the forefront for people to actually play. I think it's late 2026. Hold on, I think the backer rewards will say, so that's the projected. Yeah, where is it? I don't remember. Oh, maybe it doesn't say here. But I think it's meant to be like late 2026. So you've got a while even to like back the game. Because if we manage to hit the next threshold, I think we've got 20,000 out of, what was the next stretch goal? It was really exciting. It was a big stretch goal. Oh, hold on, it's probably in the updates. Extra rewards. There you go, the late pledges are available. Where's the stretch goals post? Stretch goals. Here. Nah, 20,000. Wait, how much did we reach? Oh, it was an AUD, that's why, right? Yeah, if we get 20,000, we get an entirely new story path with a third character. So, like, that's pretty massive. It would be, like, completely, like, content complete third route. Yeah, it's 20... This is AUD, right? Because otherwise we've reached already, but I swear we hadn't. Yeah, it's like AU here. So I'm assuming... Where's the like usual like convert to the source currency though? Oops, that's my... You can see my pledge. Usually they have the little converty icon, right? That's project currency? Wait, would that... Huh? But that means we reached it. Did no one, like, make fanfare about this? If this, like, happened? Wait. 20,000? It says... When did this happen? Like, super secretly then, right? What? Are you sure? Are you sure? Familiar avatar, or you saw it? Yes. No, it's not a Yoshi, but yes, look forward to a cool substitute. Yeah, okay. Well, in that case, I might keep these pages open just to be like, guys, when did this happen? Like, did we hit the stretch goal in secret? Or is my page... I'm gonna have to ask someone from like the US to check the page. I swear. No, because if you guys open the link right now, you'd be able to see that it's 20,000, right? Is that how you've been able to confirm it? Because it's the same on your side? What? Okay, well anyway, confirm that for me if you like. If it's 20k, I need to tell my friends about this. We hit the... Who did this? When did this happen? I swear no one talked about this, because we were like still a few thousand off from what I remember. A few thousand. So that someone like pledged just like a massive amount for like a bunch of people. Like, again, the late pledges were open, and you can like back it to like get some of the digital rewards, but those pledges are like, they're not $1,000. It's like, okay, someone just decided to like throw $1 billion money at this at some point. You can't check like the history of like the, maybe on the dev side. I wonder if they've even realized. Surely they would see it. But no one's mentioned it. That's very bizarre. Okay, Fenno, did you want to jump on Clubhouse for realsies, or I can switch to Switch Capture now if you're down to play video games. Okay. Sure. Okay, great. Fantastic. Alright. In that case, give me a little bit, friends. I'll go ahead and restart the stream VOD then. Just to like separate the solo commentary out. Casual. Clubhouse games. Clubhouse games, 51 worldwide classics. Oh, I thank you. Alright, stream is gonna go down just for like 2 seconds while to get the VOD split. Actually, I should say, if you are in the VOD, or you are heading off now, because you do want to watch us play Clubhouse games for some reason, also because I guess it's starting to get late for some of you, so that's reasonable too. I do hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Love you guys, and I'll see you all next time. But yeah, if you're sticking around, just hang tight. The stream will go down for just a sec.